You are Locked On Clippers POSTCAST, part of Locked On Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
That was awful. Thank you for joining me here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. It's time for the Clippers POSTCAST. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. Tonight, we are brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. They help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to, and they help you do it faster. Post your job free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Again, I am Pete Fox, host of the Clippers POSTCAST, coming on right after the game, breaking it down, usually with a lot more meat on the bone. Tonight, not the case. That was an abomination. I was watching that going, what is this? Who are these guys? I just don't recall them playing that bad in a long time, from pretty much beginning to end. That game was over and done with from the first quarter, although it was fairly close at the end of the first quarter. 31-29. What is that noise? All right. Something is making noise in the background, and I don't like that. Weird. Hopefully it stopped. Anyway, Clippers get shellacked by the Hawks, 110-93, down by like 29 at some point. There was no resistance in this game at all. And to me, coming into this one, they've now lost 4 of 5 after this game. I thought this was a fairly big game. Now, of course, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but as far as kind of getting your head right, getting back on track, winning at home after, a tough loss a couple of nights ago, tough loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They did have that nice win against Chicago. So I was thinking they might build on that against the Pelicans, but no, that was not the case. They looked bad in that as well. So here they are looking bad again. So I'm thinking, like, coming into this game as a 9.5 point favorite, you got to handle your business at some point. I mean, the Clippers kind of have been notorious this season, especially since that line of demarcation of December 1st of handling their business, taking care of the teams they need to take care of. One of the best teams in the league at beating sub 500 teams inferior to them. Tonight, against a team that has one of the worst defenses in the league, 28th in the league are the Hawks on defense, a team without Trae Young. He's been out since late February, I think, with a hand issue. They just looked completely discombobulated. Lack of effort, lack of energy, lack of physicality, rather. It was just disgusting, embarrassing, sloppy, lazy, and tonight when they show the bench, like Norm Powell was out tonight, and I was curious, like, well, is that a big deal? I mean, we love Norm Powell, right? He's very effective off the bench. It's a big part of the offense, but they can survive without Norm Powell. They're a deep team. Terrence Mann can fill in. Bones Highland can fill in. Nope, none of those guys could fill in. And then James Harden returns to the lineup. I'm thinking, all right, good. We got Kawhi, Paul George, who've been hot of late, and James Harden coming back. James Harden couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat till like the fourth quarter when they were down 25. Then he hit a few. I was just 0 for 7 to start. It was like that. He is more and more making me believe that I don't know what it takes for him to get back on track. When he is cold, when he is off, it's not like he can just turn it right around, right? I feel like you have to get a chisel and a hammer and chip off the ice when he's out of a game or two. He mentioned it. Like, he says, I don't like to take games off because I lose my rhythm. Well, that's clearly very evident, and it's hard for him to get it back. So I don't know what you do other than shooter's going to shoot. You got to let him shoot because he's James Harden, right? But tonight it wasn't there. Fortunately, they're off for a couple of nights. heading up to Portland for back-to-back games against the Trailblazers in Portland. So, I mean, fortunately, they're not a great team. So hopefully they can, I don't know, get some positivity back, get some energy, and go out and smack somebody in the mouth. When's the last time they smacked somebody in the mouth? That's what I'd like to know. I mean, I could go look back and look, but I off the top of my head, I can't remember one in a while. It has been a slog since the All-Star trip or the Grammy trip rather. They had a little bit of flow in the first quarter. They were moving the ball around. They were penetrating and kicking, but it had very low energy, right? Kind of like, it's okay if we fall behind to the Hawks. We'll dig it out of the dirt. It's not a big deal. It's the Hawks, right? Gave up too many offensive rebounds. Defense was an absolute rumor. I mean, the Hawks were just, again, this is a problem that we've talked about a lot lately. When they are guarding the perimeter, the lane, the paint opens wide up, right? Well, tonight it was both. The perimeter was open and the lane was open. They were just laying their ass off right to the basket. No problem. Go for it. Make yourself comfortable here in our zone, in our paint. I mean, it was just, I don't know what to say. Embarrassing, disgusting. Nothing that we should be seeing from this team right about this time of year. There's about a month to go in the season. And as Brian Seaman put it, nothing is locked in for them. I don't know if they think, you know what, we're good. We're locked in at the 4 seed. They're like 3.5 back of the 3 seed, but they're only like a game and a half ahead of the Pelicans for the 5. They could fall to the 5. No problem. I don't know if they don't care about that. I don't know what is going on with these guys. I thought Paul George, Kawhi Leonard on the floor. All right. The Hawks are undermanned. Trae Young is out, right? They've got some other dudes on that team for sure, but Clint Capella can play. Bogdanovich can fill it up. Dejounte Murray is probably their best dude. 21 points. Johnson had 18. Jalen Johnson. But it didn't feel like they needed all that much. You've got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and they started off, Kawhi had 17 in the first quarter. Like, why can't they just ride Kawhi Leonard one night? Literally, get on his back for 45, and you win a game like this. I feel like they need that. They need that out of Kawhi more than Paul George. Kawhi is like, he's more Mr. Consistency. Like, I'm going to give you 28 to 30 pretty much every night, and everyone else has to get their own. 28 tonight for Kawhi, 26 for Paul George. One of those guys when nobody else is filling it up at all. Those are the only 2 Clippers in double figures. When nobody else is filling it up, one of those guys has to go off for 40 on a night like tonight, right? Because you got to handle your business. You got to win these games. You have to. You cannot let these slip through the cracks and then just be a complete non-factor from wire to wire. Just embarrassing. I will come back and complain more right after this. All right, as I mentioned, tonight's show is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs knows that the success of your business all depends on the team you surround yourself with. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has created the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and, more importantly, free. I know that we have a little pottery business, and we've just added a new arm, if you will, to going out to schools and doing pottery with the kids in schools as part of their enrichment in their electives, if you will. And we needed to hire some people. We started looking at LinkedIn, and we had, this happened a couple months ago, just overwhelmed with people and resumes and really good candidates. So it's not just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals in all sorts of fields. It makes it the best place to hire. It's very easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs also knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats, and you might not have all the time you need to hire the right people. So LinkedIn Jobs makes it intuitive, quick, and easy. And again, it is free. Post your job for free at LinkedIn Jobs, LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. That's LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Excuse me. Clippers get routed by the Hawks in LA. A one-game homestand before a couple days off before they head up to face the Portland Trailblazers. 110-93 the final. They, after the first quarter, didn't even have a shot in hell at winning this game. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Down 19. There was no point in time where you felt like they were going to make a run. They were out of sync. They couldn't get into any sort of rhythm. And then they start talking about, and we start thinking about, well, are they a banged up, injured team now? I'm like, because Norm Powell is out? I love Norm, and I know Norm is a valuable part of this team. He's a candidate for sixth man of the year. I'm aware of what he brings to the team, but we're not banged up because Norm Powell is out, are we? And then you go, okay, well, Russ is out too. Didn't see a whole lot of Daniel Tice tonight. 7 minutes, also 7 from Plumlee. Zubats played 23, made 1 basket. They played no defense, and then they just couldn't make a shot. So I don't know if that's just, to me, that's lack of energy. That's lack of caring. That's what it felt like. It kind of had that all-star game feel, right? They had that look on their face. I mentioned this before. I got sidetracked, but they showed Norm sitting on the bench, and I'm sure he wasn't the only one who had this look on his face. I saw it from Russ. Kawhi's pretty stone-faced, but I saw it from a few guys. They had that look on their face like, well, some nights you're the bug, and some nights you're the windshield. You know, that's what it felt like. Can't win them all. Like there was nobody throwing anything. And again, I don't know that, like, if they lose this game by 2, I'm not upset, right? The way I am. I don't think it was about the fact that they lost. I think it's about how they lost. Just getting obliterated and embarrassed with no energy. Just nothing was working. You know, almost like, whatever. We got 2 days off and we're going up to Portland. You know, they got some donuts up there that are really good. We'll get to enjoy those donuts for a couple of nights. That's going to be cool. I also got some good beer up there. You know, they like to brew it. That's what they do in Portland. It's a big time home brewery state. You know, we'll have a couple of pops, a couple of donuts, play a little hoops. And if we win 1 of 2 against the Trailblazers, that's cool. It's good enough. You know, this one should have been just an absolute in the bag. The Vegas thought they were going to dominate 9.5. I haven't seen the Clippers favored by 9.5 in a while. I don't think they were favored by 9.5 when they played Detroit or Washington. 9.5 was the line on this game. It's embarrassing. It is unforgivable to me that they lost this game the way that they lost it. Not playing any defense. Again, that's been a problem, right? No defense, especially in the paint. Who was the only guy playing defense? The only guy being physical? That's right, PJ Tucker. Thank you, PJ Tucker, for at least showing up and being energetic, looking like you cared, hustling, all of that stuff. I don't know if he scored any points. I think he made 1 3. Yeah, he had 3 points. But that didn't matter. I mean, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. Not a big night on the scoring sheet, but just from an energy standpoint, the eyeball test, if you will, he was the only guy that didn't have a lack of effort. The rest of them, I mean, Kawhi was giving it what Kawhi gives, but he missed a ton too. 8 of 17. You know, I guess that's not a terrible number, but we expect closer to 60 from Kawhi, not under 50. Paul George, 9 of 20, 4 threes. Kawhi had 3 threes. Again, those 2 performances from those guys were fine if anybody else showed up. Zubats, 1 of 1, 6 points, 4 of 4 from the line. Harden, 36 minutes, 3 of 10. He was 0 of 7, hit a couple of threes late in the game where the Clippers were pretending, like giving you one of those fake rallies. Like, we're feigning that we're going to try to get back into this game, right? They were ready for the 2 days off, ready to get up to Portland and, enjoy the Pacific Northwest, brah. Harden did have 9 assists. I'll give him a little credit for that. But he also had 3 turnovers because he was sloppy at times. So, I mean, I guess that comes with the age, right? When you're out for a night or two, it just, you kind of lose a step and you gotta get back into a rhythm. And he was not in rhythm tonight. So hopefully he will be on Wednesday. Terrence Mann, 32 minutes, 2 of 6, 1 3 for 7 points. PJ Tucker, 21 minutes, 3 points. Daniel Tice has again played 7 minutes, no points. Plumlee, 7 minutes. He had 5. Bones was a brickyard, 0 of 4. He had 2 points. Coffee, 22 minutes, 1 basket, 2 points. So is it starting to feel like, all right, the injuries are getting the best of the Clippers now with Norm out, with Russ out. Now, Norm's not going to be out that long. He'll be back probably by Wednesday, but Russ is still going to miss more time. I was, again, questioning why when we're seeing more of Bones Highland earlier in this game. I mean, he came in later when it was already out of hand, right? He brings the energy. He brings the effort. Why didn't we get more of him earlier on? I don't know why why don't they fill up the lane and play some defense? It was so many questions surrounding this game as to what in the hell happened. What went wrong? All right, we'll take another break. We'll come back and we'll get into the bucket list, which, believe it or not, does exist. There are some good baskets. We'll talk about that, complain a little bit more. I am Pete Fox. Thank you for joining me here on the Clippers Postcast, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can find us on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, or you can listen to us on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. All right, tonight's show brought to you by Stitch Fix. The instant confidence boost you get from a new outfit makes you feel like you own the place, own the room, if you will, because you look good. Well, that's what happens when you sign up with Stitch Fix more often than not, because they have trained stylists that find out what fits for you, what you like, right? What makes you feel good about yourself, what makes you feel comfortable. And then they supply you with that. And if for whatever reason it doesn't fit or it turns out you don't like it, I know that at times extra large doesn't quite mean what it used to when I was 10 or 20 years younger. So things have gotten tighter and slimmer, or sometimes they're baggier and more oversized. So if for whatever reason it doesn't work for you, you can send it back, right? And it's free. The shipping is included with that. So you can easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with professional stylists that help you find new on-trend favorites that will work for you. And again, if you don't like it, you don't love it, thought you would, but for whatever reason, the color is not matching what you thought it would, how it would look with your skin tone or whatever, you can just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. Having your own personal stylist is almost unbeatable. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started today at stitchfix.com/lockedon. That's stitchfix.com/lockedon. stitchfix.com/lockedon. All right, Clippers fall in LA to the Hawks. They've now lost 4 of their last 5, 110-93 the final. They shoot just 37% from the field, 30% from beyond the arc, 11 of 36, 89% from the line. As far as the Hawks go, 48% from the field. They were dialed in from beyond the arc, 17 of 34 for 50%, and 91% from the free throw line. So they had it working. They had 4 of their 5 starters in double figures, led by Dejounte Murray, who had 21 off the bench. Hunter put in 20. DeAndre Hunter, he made it to the bucket list. Let's get to that. Number 5 on the bucket list, Kawhi Leonard hit a 3 at the 42nd mark of the first. It gave the Clippers one of their only leads. It was 29-28 at that point. Again, at the end of the first quarter, they trailed 31-29. Then early in the second quarter, the Hawks went on a 19-point run, or the Clippers fell behind by 19. I don't exactly know what the run was, but the Hawks built a very large lead because they doubled the Clippers in scoring in the second quarter, 30-15. Number 4 on the bucket list tonight, Terrence Mann, part of a 5-0 run, had a bucket. It was at the 8:27 mark. It brought the Clippers to within 5. It was a 3 for Terrence Mann, one of his 2 threes, or did he just have one? How many did he have tonight? He had... Where did Terrence Mann's stat sheet go? I always think the home team should be on the top and the visitors should be on the bottom. 1-3. It was his 1-3. It was part of a 5-0 run there. So Clippers went on a little bit of run. Again, 8:27 of the second. It made it a 5-point ball game. Then into the half, Clippers were down fairly substantially at the break. In the third quarter, the DeAndre Hunter. I couldn't find anything good for the Clippers, so I had to give credit where credit was due. DeAndre Hunter off the bench, who had 20 for the Hawks, had back-to-back driving layups. One of them went end-to-end, and again, the Clippers did nothing to clog up the lane. It was, wide open for DeAndre, but it was still a beautiful driving layup. And then about a minute and a half later, he made another one, got the and one, had a nice little stretch there, part of his 20 on the night. For number 2, Paul George had a layup. Part of the back-to-back possessions for the Clippers scoring, which at that point of the fourth quarter, 10-minute mark, was fairly substantial. Like, hey, they scored on back-to-back possessions and got some stops in there. So it made it 91-67. Again, completely out of hand, but nonetheless, it was a minor moment of positivity for the Clippers. And then number 1 on tonight's bucket list, Paul George. Paul George hit the 10th 3 of the night for the Clippers at the 6:05 mark and made it 96-77. And it was part of Paul George moving up to number 85 on the all-time list, passing Sean Marion and Magic Johnson. That kind of surprised me. I always thought Magic Johnson would be higher on that list, but he was more of a facilitator than a scorer for sure. So Paul George now at 85, ahead of Sean Marion and Magic Johnson. As far as James Harden, he moved up to 20th on the all-time list, passing Vince Carter with that second 3 that he hit tonight, part of his 2 threes, going 2 of 5 from beyond the arc and 9 points. So these guys are moving up that list rather rapidly. They've been in the league for a long time. So we're starting to see them, make some headway on the all-time list. But for James Harden, I feel like we're also starting to see him age. So when he gets cold, it takes him a game or two to kind of get back into rhythm. So he hasn't had back-to-back nice performances in quite a while, which is a bit troubling. I'll be honest. I felt like, again, the Clippers really needed this game just to get some positivity before a couple of days off, heading on the road to play the Trailblazers in back-to-back games. And those back-to-back games on the road in the same city are weird. I know it's to save travel and all of that. I understand why they do it, but it's just weird to play the same team. It's not baseball. It is bizarre to play the same team on back-to-back nights, right? It usually goes, whatever happens in the first game generally happens in the second one, right? You don't sweep those series, and you do generally either sweep them or get swept. They don't split them all that often. Of course, it does happen, but I feel like you figure out something in the first game, you do it again the next night, and you win back-to-back games. So hopefully the Clippers can get it done in the front end of that doubleheader and come away with a couple of wins up there in Portland, as the Trailblazers are a little bit down. They are not going to make the playoffs, to the best of my knowledge, and they're not a very strong team. So Clippers need those 2 games for sure. Let's see what the Portland Trailblazers are, 19-48. So yeah, I don't think the Clippers should have too much problems. As a matter of fact, they are eliminated. So should be a couple of fairly easy wins. And again, I just want to see the Clippers smack someone in the mouth. I want to go out and just have it be a non-issue by the early part of the third quarter. Have a 15-point lead at the break, extend that lead to 25 midway through the third, get a little lazy at the end of the third, 18 points lead going into the fourth, and then you pull away and win it, 20 points. We need one of those. They need some confidence to where they're just, not stressed I mean, tonight they weren't stressed. They're like, yeah, whatever. We got our ass kicked. It's fine. You know, they definitely were not stressed. Not upset about tonight at all in any way, shape, or form. Didn't seem to be an issue for them that they got humiliated by the Atlanta Hawks. Who are, I mean, I don't want to sound too disparaging about the Atlanta Hawks. They're not terrible, but they are a sub 500 team. The Clippers should have won this game rather comfortably, not losing by 17. All right, let's get into the superlatives for tonight. What's the opposite of superlatives? So it's a deform of the word super. So ugly-tives? I don't know what the opposite is, but tonight's superlatives: most in need of a smaller ball or a bigger hoop, James Harden. I know he did finish with 3 baskets and 9 points, but he was 0 for 7, just throwing up garbage until he finally made one when it was over and done with and way, way too late. So he's got to get going much sooner. As far as our bricklayer tonight, Mr. Bricklayer would be Bones Highland. Bones was 0 for 4, and I guess to his credit, at that point he just started passing or dribbling and finished with 2 points with 2 free throws. But he did finally give it up. I was thinking maybe he might try one of those straightaway deep threes when the game was out of hand and he didn't have anybody to pass to. But to his credit, he did give it up. But his shots were, Russell Westbrook ugly, just clank. So Mr. Bricklayer tonight was Bones Highland. And on the other end of that spectrum, Mr. Hustle would be PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker played his heart out right to the very end of the game, hustled, played hard, defended, played a physical basketball game, which really nobody else did on the team. Zubats, again, a non-factor on defense and, minimal effort on offense. We saw almost nothing from him. So we need more from him on both ends of the ball. But when you've got the lane wide open, is it too much to expect Ivica Zubats to clog it up? He's a big man with a big wingspan, right? Clog up that lane. That kind of performance, again, makes me wonder if he's soft. I don't know. I don't want to be too critical, but back-to-back performances where Ivica Zubats was a non-factor on defense. Frustrating. So PJ Tucker wins the Mr. Hustle Award tonight because at least played physical, had energy, gave it his all, hustled, played hard, even when the game was out of reach, when the Clippers were down by 20 plus. So kudos to PJ Tucker. Kawhi Leonard led the way with 28 points. I guess he's the player of the night. Paul George had 26, going 9 of 20. Those two guys, again, that's pretty much all you can ask for from them. We just needed more from anybody else, and we did not get it. Sadly, the Clippers get rolled by the Hawks in downtown, 110-93. Again, off tomorrow being Monday, off Tuesday, back at it in Portland against the Trailblazers Wednesday and I believe Friday. So they do have a night off in there to enjoy the donuts and micro-brewed beer in Portland. Clippers are now 42-25, 22-11 and 11 at home. The Hawks improved to 30-37, 14-20 on the road. I'm Pete Fox. Again, thank you for joining me here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel and listening to us on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. Talk to you again on Wednesday. Have a good night.